Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey tea sippers, I hope you guys are doing good right now. So I want to do an update on the whole Diddy case. There is a lot going on right now with not just Diddy, but also his sons. So if you guys remember a year ago, I did a video about Tristan Combs. He had dropped that stupid song called Pick a Side. And literally the next day he was picked up in a damn lawsuit. And so basically he was sued for sexually assaulting a woman on a yacht. So let me go ahead and refresh y'all's memory. This was a year ago after he dropped that song.
Tonight, more accusations against Sean Diddy Combs, and now one of his sons. A new 31-page lawsuit filed on Thursday details a trip in 2022 where the plaintiff alleges she was working as a stewardess aboard a yacht owned by Combs when his son, Christian, drugged and sexually assaulted her. The lawsuit alleges that an audio recording made during the night in question is evidence of the woman denying his advances as he gropes her. The plaintiff's lawyer provided those clips to NBC News. In one recording, a woman, believed to be the alleged victim, is heard saying,
"Excuse me, you don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs the way I want to. If I want to do this, then I will. You don't touch my legs like that."
Soon after, according to the lawsuit, Christian speaks and tries to get her to stay.
Who can I talk to? I'm gonna say I requested you right now.
Well, you can take your hand off my for the first thing.
According to the lawsuit, the alleged victim then left the recording studio and attempted to resume her stewardess duties. But the suit alleges Christian found her again, this time asking her to find him a place to sleep. She claims she showed him to a cinema area, but instead of resting, she alleges in the suit that he became violent and wouldn't let her leave. He groped her, the lawsuit claims, took his clothes off, grabbed her arms, and tried to force her to perform oral sex on him. The woman claims she fought him off until someone else walked in. The lawsuit includes photos of a bruised forearm, allegedly the victim's. As for Christian's famous father, the suit claims he turned what was sold as a wholesome family excursion on his yacht into a hedonistic environment where employees were exposed without their consent to unlawful drug use, sex work, and general chaos. Representatives for Christian and Sean Combs did not respond to NBC's request for comment. It comes amid a wave of legal troubles for the rap mogul, who had 2 of his homes raided last month and is facing multiple sexual assault and sex trafficking lawsuits.
All right, so you guys just saw that. So since then, Christian Combs just dropped another song with Kanye and North West. So this is currently going viral on social media as well.
North West singing with Dad on yet another track. A collab of colliding famous families, as the songs featured on Never Stop, Ye's EP with Christian King Combs, son of embattled media mogul Sean Diddy Combs, whose sex trafficking trial soon heading to jury deliberations.
I running through the jungle like a cheetah ride, surrounded by fake friends I don't even like.
The 12-year-old's impressive vocals on the song Lonely Load, proving she can keep up with her Grammy-winning dad. Inside Ye's 7-track EP with Diddy's son, the project's credits listing Ye as producer and composer for every song, one of which is titled Diddy Free, seemingly inspired by King's dad's ongoing court saga, with the Bad Boy Records founder facing racketeering and sex trafficking charges, all of which Diddy has denied. Around the trial's start date, King Combs and his siblings showed a united front, arriving as a family at Diddy's courthouse, with the entire fam putting their support on full display again June 27th as the jury hears closing arguments.
Now, I do find it disturbing that North West is involved in all of this. I mean, she's 12 years old. Regardless if Diddy is guilty or not, why even have your child tied to anything concerning Diddy and all the things that he's been accused of? So I find that it's kind of unnerving. But now, what's even crazier is that Justin Combs, He's now being indicted in a bombshell lawsuit, and this just broke yesterday. On top of King Combs being accused in a lawsuit last year, now Justin Combs is also being accused of rape as well.
Sean Diddy Combs' son Justin has been accused of orchestrating an alleged gang rape. Amid Diddy's federal sex trafficking trial, the 31-year-old and his dad are facing a civil lawsuit from a woman who alleges she was drugged and sexually assaulted by 3 masked men during a 2017 trip to Los Angeles arranged by Justin, according to court documents obtained by E! News on June 26th. In the complaint, the woman alleges that Justin, who she said she met through Snapchat, flew her out from New Orleans under the guise that he would get her a position with remote TV in Atlanta through his and his father's connections. Upon her arrival, the woman says she spent time at a Beverly Hills home consuming alcohol and marijuana, which she believed was laced due to the effect it had on her. Following the alleged intoxication, the lawsuit states that 3 masked men arrived and took turns raping plaintiff both anally and orally while she was drugged and incapacitated from Saturday evening until midday Sunday. She is suing the father and son duo as well as Diddy's businesses for sexual battery, gender violence, and negligent supervision. E! News has reached out to Justin's rep for comment but has not yet heard back. In response to the lawsuit, Diddy's team denies the allegations on his behalf, telling E! News in a June 26 statement, "No matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted or sex trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor."
So once again, Justin is being accused of the same thing. Basically setting this up and allowing 3 men to come into a room and rape her orally and anally. So this is really disturbing. A lot of folks are saying like father, like son, and they hung around Diddy a lot. Did they pick up some of Diddy's ways? Who knows? But this is extremely disturbing to see that not just one, but another of his sons is being accused of sexual assault and rape. Then it makes me feel like, hopefully his daughters have not been touched or, abused in any way, shape, or form. Now, as far as Diddy goes, his trial is coming to an end. We're hearing closing arguments. We've been hearing closing arguments all this week. And so we will find out this week if he is guilty or not guilty. So let's go ahead and watch some updated things concerning Diddy's trial.
Right now, attorneys for Sean Diddy Combs are giving their closing arguments in the music mogul's racketeering and sex trafficking trial. The defense has been attacking the credibility of the government's case and the testimony of its witnesses, telling jurors that Combs is on trial for what the defense calls a swinger's lifestyle.
Combs's lead attorney has mocked the federal searches on Combs's homes and has used humor and sarcasm trying to slam the federal RICO charges. The defense has also painted Combs as an ambitious entrepreneur who broke barriers in the music industry. Combs faces up to life in prison if he's convicted on the most serious counts against him. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges that he's facing. Let's go to CNN anchor and chief legal analyst Laura Coates, who is there outside the federal courthouse. Laura, what's the latest?
This has been an amazing closing defense argument. We were waiting to figure out what they would say as the defense, and here we have it. It's a tale of 2 trials, they're saying. One, on the one hand, with the evidence and witness testimony tells you, on the other hand, what the prosecutors want you to believe, which is why they went into great detail about the kind of person that Sean Diddy Combs is, aspects of DEI and diversity ahead of his time in terms of corporate America, talking about love life and his lifestyle and things that you might not be able to relate to, but that is there. It was really a striking contrast in style and tone from what the prosecution gave. This one far more folksy, far more meandering, but in the same vein, trying to go to the heart of the matter to convince this jury that there is nothing to see that the government was invited into a bedroom of this particular couple. They own the domestic violence, but say that's very separate from what this really is, and they question, almost guffaw at the idea of this being a RICO case.
And Laura, how would you describe Combs' demeanor through all of this?
I'm so glad you asked that, because I pay attention when people think that no one else is watching. And so while there was a break and the jurors left the courtroom, do you know what was happening? I wondered, did Sean Diddy Combs, was he satisfied by his counsel? Well, at times he was smiling. He was interacting. He was talking to them. He was almost pantomiming and imitating his counsel while he was speaking. His daughters, who are in a row or two behind him, passed up a note through counsel and then looked back at each other and kind of gave a fist bump and smiled to their father in an encouraging way. There was also a moment as well where one of the daughters, one of his twins, was rubbing the back of his mother, who seemed to be very emotional during the testimony, or during the closing portion of the argument, where the defense counsel suggested this was a vulnerable person with whom he shared intimacy with Cassie and Jane, and almost suggested that he himself was being exploited in their now willingness to divulge different details about it. She had her head down, she was almost curled over, and one of the daughters was rubbing her grandmother's back. A very human moment indeed. And in fact, the defense counsel wanted everyone to know in that courtroom that his children, 6 of the 7, the youngest one being an infant, were there in that room. But the idea of a nod, there was a moment when Mark Agnifilo described Kid Cudi and that the now infamous attempted arson or Molotov cocktail of the car, and said, this is not the person Diddy is. He would have gone and confronted him. He's no coward. A cowardly act is the Molotov cocktail, to which Diddy nodded profusely. I'm telling you, everyone is leaned in today.
Laura Coates, live outside the courthouse in Manhattan. Thank you so much for the update.
One of Diddy's sons, Justin Combs, showed up to the courthouse today wearing a shirt that said "Free Sean Combs." Now, he was actually escorted outside of the courtroom by a security guard, and then shortly after, he was no longer wearing that shirt. Nobody is allowed to wear shirts with that sort of symbolism in front of the jury.
Another standout moment in court, as witnessed by CNN entertainment correspondent Elizabeth Wagmeister, was Diddy's demeanor, which she saw change throughout the day.
In the morning, Diddy seemed to have a bit of nervous energy. He was shaking his legs and his face was very stoic. But then there was a break. He was smiling. He was laughing with his team. He seemed to be very happy. And his daughters actually passed him a note.
During their closing arguments, the defense focused on Diddy's relationship with former girlfriends Cassie Ventura and Jane. Legal analyst Misty Maris breaks it down.
The defense really laid out the relationship between Combs and Cassie, even going so far as to call them a great modern love story. Now, that seemed a little bit over the top to me, but here's how the defense applied it. They have issues that others couldn't possibly imagine. They both have issues with personal drug use and addiction. They're living in a world in the entertainment industry. And so even though there are issues in the relationship, it's not criminal.
Maris says the defense was also using the Combs family's attendance in court to their advantage.
From the defense perspective, having the family there can speak volumes. So making that reference to Combs' family sitting beside him in his support was effective.
All right, so as you see, it is a lot going on. Like I said, they should be deliberating this week. I don't know if he's going to be found guilty or not guilty. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm nobody's judge, jury, and executioner. That is for the jury to decide his guilt or innocence. But it's going to be very interesting. Everybody named Mama is going to be down there at the courthouse. This is one of the biggest trials in our, modern times. But what's also very interesting is I believe that whatever happens with the Diddy case, good or bad, if he's found guilty or not guilty, it's definitely going to play into the cases with his son. Because Tristan has a case coming up in court, and now Justin does as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens this week at the Diddy trial. So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Tea-sippers, I want to hear from you guys. How do y'all feel about Justin now being also accused of setting up a rape with this young girl by several men? How do you feel about Tristan's court case getting ready to come up, in a few months here? And then last but not least, do you feel like Diddy will be found guilty or not guilty? So I look forward to reading y'all's comments down below. Please hit this video with a like. Feel free to share the video, and I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.
If you want the latest news and the streets. Join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.